All right, guys, welcome back to the World Championship Series European Premier League season number 3. With the round of 32 now concluded, we can do the drawing for the round of 16. And I shall now pass it over to Professor Apollo with exactly how this is going to work.
All right, so the groups are going to be drawn live right now, and we're going to be going through them one step at a time. But let me just talk to you how the groups are going to be laid out. So currently, through all the first place finishes and all the second place finishes, they create 2 different pools of players. Players that won their group, players that finished in second. So these right now are 2 clumps of players in these hands. The one exception, well, by the way, before I say that, the first place players will go up against the second place players. So in each group that we have, there'll be 2 first place finishes and 2 second place finishes. The only exception to the rule of Pool A and Pool B, winners and seconds, going up against each other, is that if you're in the same group, the way that the formula works is you can't meet.
From the round of 32.
From the round of 32.
Yes.
If you're in the same group in the round of 32, you cannot meet. So that's how it's going to work out. So what we're going to be doing now is taking a look at the group overall, or the groups overall. So the 4 groups that are naked right now that don't have any players in. So we're going to be looking at group by group by group by group. 1 group at a time that are drawn live right now. Behind the camera, it's being done as we speak.
By our WCS commissioner.
By our WCS commissioner. And so we'll start with Group A. So with Group A, what will happen is there'll be obviously 4 slots open. We'll have a first place finisher, a first place finisher, and then 2 second place finishers. So when you look at the groups, the guy at the top will play the guy at the bottom.
Yep.
1v4, just like we've had so far, and 2v3. So that'll be first and first, second and second. So first versus second, first versus second. So let's now take a look at the groups and start to understand how things are gonna unravel themselves. So here is the unrevealed, unknown groups for the round of 16. This is very exciting for me right now.
It's very bland, though, right now.
It is very, very bland. We don't know who is who and where is what and what is going on.
We have no clue. Oh.
The nod has been given that the Group A is ready.
Okay, so let's see.
Have a look who...
I'm excited, man.
So we have Happy and Wellmove first place finishers, Stardust and Targa as second places. So that now is Happy versus Targa to begin us off. Wellmove in a PvP against Stardust is Group A.
Dude, of all the PvPs to get at the very beginning of our groups, this one for me is very interesting. Because Wellmove, if you didn't know, guys, he's from Finland. Do you know who else is from Finland? Elfie's from Finland.
That's right.
And you know what happened last week?
That's right.
Weekend. We had Elfie versus Stardust, guys. That was pretty fun to watch.
That's pretty awesome.
And
then on the other side of things, you've got Targa, who's been performing very, very well against Terran players. And then, of course, Happy is a player who comes into the round 32, dominates, then comes to the round 16, and sometimes looks a little bit shaky. So Group A is pretty good, I think, to start things off.
Very, very well-rounded. I'm looking forward to seeing how Targa can perform as well. I mean, considering that he was able to advance in the round of 32 against the odds, a lot of people would say, with Naniwar in that group as well. That's, I would say that that's probably a good group for Targa.
Pretty all-round group there. So from what I can see, Group B is just about ready. So I guess it's time to go ahead and look at Group B. So we've got the first 4 players, and Group B, wow.
Whoa.
Vortex and MC meet again.
Ooh.
2 first place finishes in that group, and then 2 the second place finishes, Thorzane and Baby Knight. Now that is a difficult group. Vortex has played against MC in the past. Vortex played against Baby Knight in Season 1, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then Thorzane returns back to the round of 16. We'll be studying, but his first game is against MC.
Dude, this is a really star-studded European lineup. And if I recall correctly, Thorzane versus MC, what comes to mind when you think Thorzane versus MC? I think TSL from TSL 3 those years ago. And wow, I can't believe we're actually going to get to see MC versus Thorzane again.
Yeah, this is a very, very good group there. And with Vortex playing so well recently in the World Championship Series in team leagues, he starts off in a Zerg versus Protoss, just like he finished off last season with all Zerg versus Protoss. He kicks off the round of 16 live games against Baby Knight. And then, of course, MC and Thorzane. That's a very, very tough group to predict who will come out as top 2. Very difficult.
I had, going into the round of 16, I'd pegged, foreigners to do really well. I said for myself, Vortex and Nurtio, that I think, are my picks to actually do pretty well here in WCS Europe as foreigners. But that in itself is a tough group for Vortex. He's good against Protoss, but that's two very tough Protoss.
That's two very tough Protoss indeed. So very excited for this, and I guess we can get ready to move on to group number C now, because there's a lot of players still left. Where's MMA? Where's 4GG?
Oh, no. If that happens, but then again, actually, whoa.
Now, that's an interesting group there, isn't it?
Yeah, that really is. Especially since Genius is also going to be playing offline. He's actually physically going to be here. So he's not going to have to combat with any latency issues. Genius versus Nurtio as that match. That's pretty cool.
Well, Showtime is just in for it there. He did manage to beat MVP twice in groups, but of course we had the gameplay that he was talking about, how he was able to beat MVP because of latency, and now MVP was in trouble, right? Because of a lot of the playstyle. But now, again, on LAN, and 4GG and the performance that he's been given recently, that's a difficult start for Showtime. And then, of course, he has Genius and Nurtio. Wow.
What a strange... yeah, you're right. I mean, Showtime going up against 4GG, that's certainly going to be interesting. These groups, it's really difficult to actually predict how they're going to go, because I don't... credit where credit is due. Showtime did a really well performance in the round of 32, but he has a mountain to climb in Group C.
That's a difficult group for him. So we can actually start... I'm trying to think of the players left. There's like MMA, Starbuck, Duck,
and at Titan.
Oh.
We just figured out the last group.
All right, let's see the order of it. Well, you can actually figure out the order of it, but I'm all dazed up. Group D, of course, will have to be those 4 players. MMA and Titan, the first place finishers. Duck and Starbuck being the second place finishers. MMA will go up against Starbuck.
Ooh.
And if you remember back to Starbuck, he played a fantastic series against Lucifron in the round of 32, beating him out 2-1. But of course, MMA is on search for a season finals, is on search to go to BlizzCon. He will look at that group and say, I will dominate it. But then, of course, in the middle, you got this PvP between Titan and Duck, which is going to be a pretty exciting one. Because Duck has been doing so many PvPs in recent times, but Titan's insane.
Yeah, he's crazy in PvP. We already saw that in the round of 32 with, cannon rushes and all the craziness that happened in Yonsu. But the funny thing is about Group D, to me, is that in Season 2, Duck kind of dodged the bullet that is MMA, because in the semifinals, MC was able to defeat MMA, and that prevented MMA from getting onto the finals to play against Duck. So now, if those two are able to win their respective first matches, or in turn lose their respective first matches, we could see that matchup occur, and I'd be very interested to see how that goes.
Well, there are the 16 players that will play live from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday next week. A single group per day. Wow, what a good setup we have for the round of 16. That is a pretty exciting set of players within those groups.
Yeah, that's looking really nice. If you had to pick your favorite group out of those, which would it be?
Let me think.
It's a tough one.
I do like the Vortex MC group.
Yeah, I quite like that one as well.
I think for me, it's very close between Group B and Group D.
Group B and Group D. I would say for me, personally, Group B and Group C. I really also like Group C. There's a lot of dynamics that can go on there. And I'm a little bit of a Genius fanboy. I have been for a long time. I know he's got some quirky, crazy, aggressive builds, but he can bring good macro games.
One thing is MC will not meet Genius yet.
Darn!
Not until potentially the round of 8 and above. So that's one thing that got dodged in the round of 16. But of course, if you guys want to come and watch these games play out live, it's very easy to do so. All you need to do is go to wcseurope.eventbrite.com, which, as you can see, just down there. You can come watch the games from Tuesday to Friday next week. That's how to get your tickets. Come to Cologne. Come watch these games play out live. Come meet the favorites and enjoy yourselves here. It's always a lot of fun.
I already know that maybe there's a lot of Slovenians looking to come along, now knowing which days Starbucks playing. I've spoken to them as well.
Friday.
So, yeah, and they already had so much support for their young Slovenian player. During the round of 32 alone, they had a barcraft in honor of just Starbuck himself, and they went crazy when he advanced. So imagine if they were in the studio as well. Crazy if Starbuck won.
It would be a lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun. And that kind of completes us here for the round of 32. It's been a couple of weeks, 3 weeks now, I guess the third week this being, and we've come to a conclusion. We've got our 16 players, and the World Championship Series will continue in the round of 16 next week.
So that is going to do it here for week number 3 of WCS Europe. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you the round of 32. Make sure to tune in next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for the round of 16.